What's going on YouTube? Kamikazevondoom here with another Division 2 video. Now this is going to be all about how Title Update 11 will change your vendors. Not just your gear, but your vendors. I'm gonna show you a few vendors and I'll explain why, but first let's get into the actual gear itself. So in last week's State of the Game, Hamish talked to another Ubisoft developer named Nikki. Look at this, the boombox is in my shoulders. Alright. That looks pretty dope. Anyways, last week in the State of the Game, Nikki, one of the Ubisoft developers, he is in charge of the rainbow loot changes. Now, he explained two changes that are coming in Title Update 11, and this will very much so impact your vendors. Not a lot of people have talked about that. I see a few people talk about the gear changes and, legacy roles and whatnot, but nothing about the vendors. So let's get into this. Now, and the boombox disappeared. All right. Okay, so for the changes, first one is skill tier. On their end, their skill tier is still randomized for how high up the skill tier is. Just like the weapon damage and armor are random rolls, so is the skill tier on their end. For us, the player, we just see +1 skill tier, and we're like, okay, that's, it's basically a null. It's not, 100%, it's not 0%, it's just one skill tier. However, on their system, it still is randomized, and that impacts your attribute rolls. Now, the reason being is the higher the core attribute, the lower the normal attributes. The lower the core attribute, the higher the normal attributes. For example, right here, I have a Murakami piece. It is a holster. It is 1 skill tier. Now, the two attributes, you can see none of this has been modified, so this is exactly how it dropped. They are both fairly high, 9.3, so that's 93% out of 100 for each of those. And that's fairly high. However, if I go down to this Wyvern wear, I have one maxed out attribute and then one below average attribute. In fact, the skill, this crit chance is about half, 3.1 out of 6. So you can see where it's still randomizing it, and based off of their algorithm as a developer, it's because in their system the skill tier value is still being randomized, and that's what gives you the different values for your attributes. That way we don't always get god rolls for our skill tier, and we don't always get crap rolls on our skill tier gear. Now that's one change coming with Title Update 11 that they are looking at. The next is they're going to have the top attribute match the core attribute. This being said, this might be subject to change, but this is what the developers have said. They are looking at making the top attribute match your core attribute. That way you get less rainbow rolls. Now, just letting that fester in your mind for a second, this will deeply impact your vendors. Now, let's show you some gear that will never be the same ever again. So for example, the Anarchist Cookbook. This comes with armor as the core attribute. Now this one has crit chance and skill haste. Both of those are not a blue attribute. With Title Update 11, with the Golem gear being a defensive-based brand set, it's going to have armor as the core attribute, and then the top attribute is going to automatically be blue. So here's one example. Here's another example. So this one came with maxed out armor, but I still have crit chance and skill damage. So with Title Update 11, that crit chance, if I were to get another one to drop, it would automatically be a blue. That way you can't get rainbow rolls anymore. No more rainbow loot as far as what they were talking about. Now that you understand the gear side of it, let's look at the vendors. Now, just for the video, I'm going to show you the 3 New York vendors, and I'll explain how this loot will change in Title Update 11. So go in here, this is the clan vendor for New York City, and right off the bat, we have a rainbow rolled firm handshakes. Now we know that the status effects is a set slot. That will never change because it is the named Sokolov Concern gloves. However, with their proposed changes, this health roll would automatically be a red based off of the core attribute being weapon damage. And with that same logic, the gear sets, again, would change. You wouldn't be getting all these blue and yellows, red and yellows. You'd be getting red and red, blue and blue. Going to the high-end gear items. Again, right here, Alp Summit Mask comes with a skill tier, crit damage, and then status effects. With Title Update 11, that will change. They will no longer sell a top attribute that is not matching the core attribute. So that crit damage would be a yellow. So right off the bat, if you're, a skill build player, you would get all yellows off of that one piece of item in this case. Another example right here, Golden Gear chest piece. That weapon damage would not be there. That would be another blue. So this potentially could be an all blue build. Richter and Kaiser, see, this is how you would probably see the piece of gear in Title Update 11, where the top attribute matches the core attribute, and then the bottom attribute is random. So in this case, you get headshot damage. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, I already have 2 yellows. I could just re-roll the headshot damage off for either, skill damage, what have you, skill haste. So that's just one of these vendors. Let's go check out another vendor. I hope this helps you explain the rainbow loot changes that are coming with Title Update 11, because I know a lot of people are confused. Now this one right here, Petrov chest piece with focus, max weapon damage, but then you have explosive resistance as the top attribute. In Title Update 11, that would not be the case. You would know for a fact that that top attribute would be red, so that potentially could have been a weapon damage, crit chance chest piece with focus. And focus isn't really necessary for Petrov, but that's a different story. And here we go. Here's a rainbow rolled Sokolov Concern knee pads. These knee pads come with weapon damage. So in Title Update 11, it will be impossible to get a blue and a yellow, because with these proposed changes, that top attribute will be a red to match the weapon damage. So this will completely take away rainbow loot in the vendor, which is a great thing for us, the consumer. But as far as build diversity and trying to do different hybrids, this will definitely constrict that and make it less diverse. And then again, another great example, Richter and Kaiser right here, skill tier, and then the top attribute matches. And that's exactly how they're going to make all the pieces in Title Update 11 that you get. So the reason why I'm saying this is because a lot of people are talking about legacy gear. So let me show you a piece of legacy gear. I believe I have it on here. Yeah, so right here. This is a Gilligard Point Man chess piece. This is the named chess piece with perfect Vanguard. Now, I just got this one the other day, and it has 11.5 crit damage and 5.5 crit damage. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to re-roll that core attribute to red, and then come Title Update 11, I'll be able to have a red mod slot, and then all of a sudden I have 4 reds on a Gilligard named chess piece. With Title Update 11, this will be impossible to achieve, because you will forever get armor as the core attribute, and then the top attribute would be a blue, no matter what, with their proposed changes. So something like this would become a legacy item, and then all of a sudden you're running a point man build and I'm running a point man build, but I hit harder. It's because I'll have a legacy item like this that will potentially have 4 reds instead of a guaranteed 1 blue. So I hope explain that. The changes with Rainbow Loot will directly impact the vendors. And I think I can go to one more vendor and show you a few more examples. And then I will go ahead and get out of here. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys are looking forward to in Title Update 11. This might not be the most positive video, but I'm trying to inform you guys. Now right here, Hana Yu chess piece. This is a rainbow roll. It has skill tier, crit chance, and explosive resistance. That's a yellow, red, and a blue. That will not be the case in Title Update 11 with these new rainbow roll changes. So that top attribute, that crit chance, will have to be a yellow, and then that bottom one is going to be random. Wow, again right here, Gilligard, rainbow rolled gloves won't ever exist. And right below that, wow, Grupo Sombra holster with skill haste and repair skills and a red. A lot of people like to roll Grupo Sombra over to skill tier because of the explosive damage, and then you could do that with the mortar turret and explosive seekers, blah blah blah. And this is another perfect example right here. You will never be able to find another Grupo Sombra with all yellows because it is a red core attribute brand set. It's going to forever now come with at least 1 red. So alright, I think I beat that dead horse. Those are the changes that are coming to the loot and your vendors come Title Update 11. I'm Kamikazevondoom. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember, hit that like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.